Peace, peace, peace. Greetings, 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 everyone. All right, this is Professor GRIFF, and of course, y'all already know, or you should know, if you're just tuning in for the first time, let me tell you. This is Arm the Masters right here with your brother, Professor GRIFF, and I do not like these glasses. You know, sometimes you got readers all over the daggone place, and it's like my main glass has been in at the eye doctor for I don't know how long. So I need to take a trip over there and get them. But anyway, greetings, family. How's everyone doing? Hope everyone is doing absolutely wonderful. This is your brother, Professor GRIFF, your soldier, Professor GRIFF. All right. And we right here on Black Power Media Reloaded. Shout out to my man Kalanji and staff. All right. First of all, when we do the check-in, we want to see where everyone is at, who's signing in, who's coming on, who's participating in this conversation we're going to have. And that conversation is, I'm asking people, along with everyone that's in line with the spirit of what I'm about to say, to join with me. We are not, absolutely not, we are not going to boycott Black African businesses. We're not. We're not boycotting. We're going to align ourselves. We're going to sit down. We're going to have dialogue. We're going to build businesses. We're going to build a multi-continental understanding of who we are as one people. And we're going to come together on that basis. All right? We're going to do business with one another like other people do. Other people, other races, other complexions. A lot of them don't get along, but they manage. They have a deeper understanding. There's a middle ground. We can do business, respect one another, and that's where we are. All right? So once again, we are not following these people that are online talking about boycotting Africa, African businesses. We're not doing that. Nope. We're going to work in conjunction with our brothers and sisters from the Caribbean islands and Africa. We're going to come together under the principles of cooperative economics, unity. All right. We're going to come under the spirit of what Bob Marley and other artists have given us, one love. All right. We're going to respect one another. All right. And we're going to neutralize these individuals online talking about how we should boycott our own brothers and sisters just because they're from a different continent. We're not doing that. We are absolutely not doing that. I'm going to say it again before I go into the check-in to see who's on with us. We are not going to boycott any businesses from Africa. Not African hair salons, braiding salons, not African herb shops, not whatever they are. Tire shops, wherever our Black African brothers and sisters are, that's where we are. All right? Okay. Now, who's on the check-in? Vanjie Wild 99th is in the house. Okay. Rick, what's up, man? Peace, fam. What's good with you? All right. What's up, Professor GRIFF? How you been? I've been all right. Wise, civilized, intelligent, understanding. I've been all right. All right. We are not boycotting. Salah, if you want to stay in, you could just dismiss yourself. If that's the way you feel, you could dismiss yourself. We are not boycotting any African business, we're not boycotting any Caribbean, Jamaican, Trinidadian. We're not. We're going to show some unity, and this is the time to do it. Africa is on the rise, and so is the spirit of Africa that lies within all of us. All right? That's right. One love. Yep. We will not be boycotting any business from Africa. Anyway, I'm going to put the invitation in the comment section. I'm going to offer some suggestions by the time we get off of here for all those individuals that think that we're not one people. Anyway, let me start it up by saying this. Some reports and social media discussions indicate that some Black Americans are experiencing dissatisfaction and in some cases boycotting African-owned salons due to concerns surrounding professionalism. Well, you find that same kind of instances in Korean, Asian, Chinese, whatever. You find that with different races of people, different cultures of people. That is nothing but a conversation that you should have. All right? Because I do have some questions for those individuals talking about boycotting. When you're talking about boycotting African salons, what part of Africa are you talking about? What Africa, in case you haven't checked, is a continent, and you have countries inside of Africa. Hold on. You have 54 countries inside of Africa. So when you say boycott African restaurants, African salons, African businesses, to whom what people are you talking about? I'm curious. What African people are you talking about? All right. So it also goes on to say they're having concerns surrounding professionalism, customer service, pricing, and a cultural understanding. If it's a cultural conversation we need to have, let's have the cultural conversation. You go so far as to say let's boycott African, and African is a big, broad umbrella, big kind of generalized description. What part of Africa, what country in Africa, what people in Africa? So the protest in this so-called boycott needs to make some sense. All right, just some common sense. All right. It also goes on to say customer service and professionalism accounts of the last minute cancellations. Every business does that. Unprofessional behavior, every business does that. Dissatisfaction and in some cases boycotting African-owned salons due to concerns surrounding professionalism, blah, 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 blah. Yes, towards customer hair. And okay. Other people do not know how to do your hair, Black women. All right. If anyone's going to come on the broadcast, you have to show your image. I'm just not doing avatars. Thank you very much. You have to come on live. All right. I'll be with you in a minute. Let me just finish this. Pricing and extra charges. Some customers complain about. They consider extraordinary costs, particularly for braids. That's just, yeah. Okay. Next, cultural differences, understanding of some Black American clients feel that some African style. We're talking about hair salons. We're not talking about the overall aspect of what African people are bringing. All right. And please keep in mind when you start talking about certain aspects of the younger people and a lot of even the older people coming out of Africa. Understand, Africa was colonized. The same dog that bit them bit you. All right. You could almost say it was Willie Lynch 2.0. All right. So keep these things in mind when you talk about boycotting African business because of a bad experience that you may have had with someone from Africa, not even knowing what part of Africa. I'm trying to figure that out now. All right. So understand that dynamic. All right. So what's attributing this whole sentiment of hate towards Africans, and then what's triggering the hate from Blacks looking at Africans and then Africans looking back at Black people? This is not a new thing. It's just being exacerbated now with not only the gender wars, but now it's the culture wars. All right, and you can't see and read between the lines that this is your open enemy doing this. So come on, family, wake up. Wake up. I don't want to say wake up and smell the coffee. No. Wake up and smell the tricks and the lies. Someone is behind the scenes. I was watching something earlier. I hope I still have it on my phone. The degree of ignorance coming from some of these people is just ridiculous. Hold on. Can I find it? No, hold on. Okay, I'll play a couple of things. Hold on. I'll play a couple of things if I can find them so y'all can hear them for yourselves. But in the meantime, between time, pan mulattoism, I guess that's your name. I don't know.
Peace, King. How you doing?
Greetings. How are you?
Doing well, King. Thanks for having me up. And I try to make it brief as possible. Two things. Number one, it's imperative that we as U.S. freedmen boycott African businesses so that we can keep that U.S. freedman dollar and the U.S. freedman community. And I'm also saying we must boycott all immigrant businesses, all Caucasian businesses, all non-U.S. freedmen businesses, but definitely we must boycott U.S. freedmen businesses. And secondly, and in closing, we must acknowledge that Africans were
Yo,
co-conspirators.
do me a favor. Can you come on the screen?
Well, I'm arresting my anonymity, but you seen me, so you know I'm a real human being.
I don't even know what that terminology means, bro. I just want to see you because you could be anyone that we talk to. I want to be able to see your face in case I bump into you at Walmart.
Well, you just seen me. I just cammed up in the
No, I'm
back.
talking about I need the people to see you and my people to see you.
Well, yes, I'm arresting my anonymity if that's not a problem, respectfully. And I'm not saying anything disrespectful at all.
No, no,
But
no.
let me
I'm not taking it as being disrespectful. I understand. I respect that. All right, finish talking to us. What's happening?
and I'll say this in closing, because I don't want to be long-winded. Additionally, we must acknowledge that Africans and Europeans were co-conspirators in the enslavement of our ancestors. So just as it would be foolish of us as Jewish freedmen to seek unity with Europeans, we must also realize that it's also foolish to seek unity with Africans. They literally sold us to the Europeans.
Okay, can you prove these things? Can you give us some resources real quick? We don't
Yes,
want to be hold on, wait, let me finish. Let me finish. We don't want to be long-winded. I want to write down some references because when you say Africans, there's 54 countries, I believe, in Africa. So when you say the Africans, you just talk about all of them sold us, or how did that process work? Can you give me some references, please?
yes, just like when we say Europeans enslave us, we don't mean all Europeans, correct?
No, you're saying it. I'm not saying it. I'm just clarifying something to be clear. That's why I want
Exactly.
to. That's why. Excuse me.
I'm using the term African the same way that we would use the term
No, I'm not.
Europeans
But
when we speak
I'm not
about.
using that. I'm not using that term right now. You are. Give me some
Exactly.
references.
Well, let's not make this a contentious discussion. The
I'm
reference
not. I'm
is
just asking
the.
you a question that you failed to answer.
Can I
Please.
answer? Yeah,
No,
I'm gonna
no.
answer
Please.
it.
No, no. And no. Listen, please give me some references.
Yes.
Okay.
Ghana apologized for selling us to Europeans. That's one
Excuse
reference.
me. What was that?
Ghana, Ghana, the nation of Ghana, they
Oh, Ghana.
apologize. Yes, they apologize for selling our
No, no, no,
ancestors.
no. I think you
Oh,
misunderstood
you
my
might have
question.
forgot. Oh,
No,
all right.
you misunderstand my question. I
Yes,
need references. Where can I go? Read, study, research, cross-reference. Where can I
exactly.
go? Hello?
Elmina Castle, the
Whoa, whoa,
Elmina
bro,
Castle in Ghana.
bro. Hold on.
Oh,
Listen,
all
bro.
right.
Please learn how to listen. I did not finish the statement. Could you please not be disrespectful? Is that too much of a problem?
Well, you cannot mischaracterize me, but I'm
You got
listening.
excuse me?
I said you cannot mischaracterize me, but I'm listening. Go ahead, brother.
You said I can't miscarriage was
No, you cannot mischaracterize me. I'm not being disrespectful, but I'm listening, brother. Go ahead, King.
okay. Just give us some references. I don't want to hear about instances. I don't want to know about the other thing.
Yes.
These things we already know. I need some place I could go to way beyond a YouTube clip.
Yes, sir.
Give me some references. I
The
want to be
Elmina Castle. Well, that's one reference. The
I want to
Elmina
be I
Castle.
want to be able to read, cross-reference. I want to be able to study these things. All right. Okay. Way beyond a YouTube clip, way beyond some TikTok information. I want to be able to read these things for myself. Africans as a broad term did not sell black people into slavery. Show me where there's an African slave trade on the continent of Africa. Can anyone send me some references? An African slave trade. Show me where that was happening at on the African continent. Please give me some references, family. I'm going to put the invitation back in the chat for anyone that want to come on. But when we come on, we're going to be very respectful. We're not going to out talk and talk over the host. We're not going to do that. We're not going to do that. And if you fail to come on for some legal reasons, you got warrants or whatever, then don't come on. Go to somebody else's channel. All right. Let me finish what I was saying. So this idea of somebody getting an itch in their pants and want to boycott African salons, we're not doing that. All right? We're not doing that. We're not doing our brothers and sisters from Eritrea, Somalia, Ethiopia. We're not boycotting any of them. We're working along with them so that we can build alliances, we can build trade. Because if the last time, if you looked at an actual map of the continent of Africa and all of the natural resources that come up out of Africa, Africa is on the rise. All right. And if you go and do stats, Africa is going to be on the rise. The whole idea of young people coming up in Africa being the number one consumer in a minute. All right. We want to be able to connect back with our African brothers and sisters, those of us that's still part of our bloodline. All right. I think a few people got a hold of a couple of a Black Law Dictionary and some other stuff, and all of a sudden forgot that, yeah, way before Africa was Africa, we was one people. I'm gonna say that again in English, in case some people in the back didn't hear me. Before Africa was named Africa, we were one people. All right. Study Pangea. Study who we are as a people. All right. Okay. Sandy, Hold on, read my man's message. Been put organized acts accompanying female artist Soleil. I got you, DJ Nabs. I'm gonna ask Soleil as soon as I say I'll see you in an hour. All right. Are they boycotting Sam's Club? I'm not sure if they're boycotting Sam's Club. I'm not sure if they're still boycotting Targets. I don't know. I guess these people just want to boycott everyone. Listen, we must go into this particular boycotting, protesting thing with a different kind of mindset. All right. Our brothers and sisters on the African continent and in the Caribbean islands, and as a matter of fact, in the Black African diaspora, they're our brothers and our sisters. All right. They will always be. All right. If there's a cultural conversation that we need to have, then let's have that cultural conversation. If you want to go off on your own and you don't want reparations, all right, you don't want us to get together with brothers and sisters on the African continent, you don't want us to love one another, then that's a conversation you need to kind of have with yourself. All right. Okay. Someone said, I heard a brother say, all of us may not be from Africa, but Africa is in us. And it definitely is. We may not be in Africa, but Africa is in us. All right. Some people right now are scratching their heads and, nah, Professor Griff, I disagree with you. We're this, we FBA, we Black Americans, and blah, 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 blah. Stop. That's a good book that they need to read. Tom Burrell's brainwashed. There's about 12 more books I want to give people. All right, so you might want to write this down. If someone can look it up and put it in the chat. What is the book written by Walter Rodney? Let's look up Walter Rodney. Who was Walter Rodney? We're going to come up with a list for these individuals to read, because obviously they're not reading. They are not reading. Yeah, of course, we agree with that. While Clark, I guess you mean Fatih. I guess you mean John Henry Clark. We have to be clear, because there's a lot of Clarks out there. So help me out, Fatih. You mean John Henry Clark does acknowledge that some African societies and elites participated in the capture and the sale. You're right, some. Yes. But we're not gonna leave it right there, because I see you got a comma. All right. What process was that? Right? And how are we going about understanding this idea of selling captured slaves because there was prisoners of war? Okay, got you, Fatih. How Europe underdeveloped Africa. Thank you very much, Mr. Door of L. All right. We need to start with Dr. John Henry Clark, reading his work. Walter Rodney. We're going to build a book list right here online for the people that want to come on and just kind of just talk side-eyed. All right. We're going to redirect them towards a book I mentioned earlier, which I said this was the Willie Lynch 2.0, because the same trick has been played over and over and over and over again. Get black people to hate one another. The talk among young people that's coming up that are not studied. All right. Not studied. I openly say that. Not studied. All right. Because when I ask a very simple question, like just give me some references, I want to be able to go back and study this for myself. All right. Thank you very much, Empress. People in Africa were miseducated like the people in the United States. Most Africans have no idea what Atlantic slave trade is. They do know some degrees of colonization because that's what was happening. And then prior to the Atlantic slave trade, we have to talk about the slave trade that went on probably 500, 600, maybe even 1,000 years prior to the Atlantic slave trade, which was going on with the white Arabs, all right, coming into Africa, taking slaves. I think it's more important to educate each other on the education tactics that are being, and yes, education tactics, political tactics that are being used right now on us, on both of us. All right. There's a divide and conquer tactics. Our elders and some now ancestors have dealt with this issue, and they actually did lectures, had symposiums, had roundtable discussions, put it in books. All right. So, but when young people come on the platform right here and just start talking, because what they're talking, they're just talking coming from an emotional base. I want to get down to the intellectual aspect of this, the educational aspect of these particular things, so we can pass this information on to the next generation so they don't have to have this discussion. Or if they do have this discussion, reframe it, repackage it so we can leave out of here. It's cool that the individual came on and I'm king and I'm brother and no disrespect, blah, 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 while disrespecting me. All right, we're not doing that. All right. We talk about having a grown-up, respectful conversation. All right. I was taught in my home. I'm not sure about yours. Maybe y'all grew up different. All right. When someone's talking, be quiet and listen. When they turn it over to you and give you the floor, then we will be quiet so you can talk. All right? But if I'm asking a basic question, give me the references. Let's not regurgitate white supremacist talking points. Give me the references where I can go study where black people, Africans, sold black people into slavery. Africans. Now, I can see if you would have gave me a couple of countries, a couple of tribes, then I can say, okay, I could pinpoint that, give you the history of that tribe and say they didn't view and didn't know anything about Atlantic slave trade. All right. They knew we were at these skirmishes, these wars, these tribal wars. And when we captured prisoners, we didn't kill them, we imprisoned them, and we sold them back, and we traded back, and we did whatever. It's a lot different than setting up a whole entire global system called the slave trade. All right? Okay, I'm still waiting for references. All right? Y'all can just put them in the chat, or y'all can text me the references. I'd like to know what those references are. All right? Who wrote the book? Question. Who wrote the book Africa's Gift to America? See, I do it this way so that the people who are listening have no other choice but to go and study. Maybe because they don't know. It's my duty and responsibility to say, okay, if you don't know, check this book out. We have no excuse now. They got audio books, they got ebooks, they got physical books, paperback and hardback books. All right. They got people that actually read the book for you and give you some notes and some outline on what the book is about. You can even have cheat codes. All right. Black Supremacy 101. Do me a favor. Don't put the name up. I need the name of the book and the author. We have to be thorough because we can't give these young people that are coming up no excuses to just come on and run their mouth. If you're going to come on, give me some receipts. Give me some receipts. I'm not the smartest one in the room. All right. I just don't throw names up. Give me the name of the book. Give me the name of a book, fam. All right. And the reason why I say give me the name of a book because we put it in a book. When we couldn't do anything else, we wrote about it. All right. I'm over here in my bookshelf trying to find y'all one such book. All right. For example, The Miseducation of the Negro by Carter G. Woodson. If you haven't read it, there's absolutely nothing wrong with you getting in a study group. All right, someone that can lead the study group so you can get through the book, all right, in 1 or 2 settings. All right, this is a must read. There's no other way around it. You got to be quiet, you're going to have to sit still, and you're going to have to read. And you got to learn how to cross-reference. I know TikTok and some of these other places got you coming online with these 140 characters, and you might listen to someone a couple of times and you think you know. You don't. You don't know it. No. Thank you very much. Africa's Gift to America, J.A. Rogers. Thank you. That's what I'd like to see. Now we're growing. So now when a young person see that, they can go look up J.A. Rogers and you can find out his other 8 books. All right? Okay. Another book. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima, We Came Before Columbus. We Came Before Columbus. Dr. Ivan Van Sertima. Now, when you go look up Ivan Van Sertima, right now we could list at least 5 other books that Ivan Van Sertima has given us, not to mention the hundreds of lectures that he's done. All right. The Atlantic Slave Trade, census author Philip D. Curtin. All right. I just started reading this one, Black AF History, The Unwashed Story of America by Michael Harriot. I just got that book maybe 2 months ago. I kept seeing it on TikTok and whatever. And I was just like, okay, cool. Got you. We have a guest that just came on. Peace, peace. What's good?
Peace. You'd already pulled the book up. I can bring up Quality Whistling. Yeah, you'd already pulled the book up. They got the Miseducation of the Negro, The Education of the Negro by Carter G. Wilson. Or you can read books like Africa versus America, Africa Gift to America. Like, there's a lot of books out there that people need to read.
Right, exactly. And then when we come on and have these conversations, we can elevate the conversation. You understand what I'm saying? So, yeah.
Right.
So I understand. So it does take a degree of commitment to knowing who we are. And that's the first thing. I don't know how old you are, but that's the first thing.
35.
When I had an enlightener, you have to know who you are.
Right.
So people don't want to claim Africa. That's their problem. You understand what I'm saying? When we talk about Pangea, Earth was one landmass until
we was all one last man. And not
Exactly.
only that, if they've been on the plane before, like if you fly in the air and look down, you can actually see how the old world was once connected because you can reach Africa from Maine.
Exactly. So these kind of things, if people only knew, then the only way you're going to know that is studying, simply because they've brainwashed Africans on the African continent and they brainwashed us here.
Right.
You know how long it took for them to allow us to read? It was illegal for Black people to read here.
Yeah, they was getting what, like a $200 fine or something like that, or in case they'll like do some kind of stuff to seal your mouth shut and all that. Once they find out you know how to read, yeah, it's a lot.
It's a lot. So we just try to get people to understand who is the author of this hatred between Africans and Black Americans. Someone's behind that, because why would we just all of a sudden start hating where we come from? You don't find Italian people doing that. You don't find Italian people saying, well, we don't like Italians because we're in America. No.
Right. Like I have a nurse, she's actually from Ghana, and she was like, had me talk to the elders there, and they was saying about the Atlantic slave trade and all that, how they actually took people from her village to over here. So I was like, yeah, we all once was connected to Africa at one point.
Exactly. I really appreciate you coming on. I'm going to bring on another guest. Well, you can stay on if you'd like. But who am I speaking with?
Hey, what it do, brother? Roger Sean, North Tulsa, Oklahoma. Peace to you.
Peace. How you feel? What's good?
I'm doing all right. This is interesting. I'm not aware of there being any boycott of diaspora goods or services. Do you think that this stems from some of the the online back and forth and vitriol that's being had? And do you think this is coming from the earlier generations or some of the later generations?
No, I think, to be honest with you, if I could just speak directly to that, yeah. I just think it's a plan and a plot, and by design, that we argue at this point. Because if you go and you watch international news, and you stop watching CNN and some of these other alphabet boys, you'll see that Africa is on the rise. Africa's claiming its own, and Africa's asking us to come back to assist. So to have us come together over here, these people don't want that.
It does make sense when you think about it, because I'm saying the energy of Malema and Traore is all over Africa right now. And it's only spreading. So it only makes sense that there would be some form of I thought something was odd with it because it's like we never had no smoke like that. And now all of a sudden the unnecessary dismissiveness is coming up. Like people telling us, okay, and you can't tell a black person, you can't tell a young black person they don't have no culture. And just negate them, right? I think what it is that the way that it's been
Right.
paired, you have this push for our lineage identity. And for black people, to me, I think that's shadow work. But everything that we've been ever, done and has been put out there to the front of the world so that they can, see it, identify it or whatever. The thing is, I think diasporan groups should have been more neutral if they weren't going to be supportive. And the fact that they were actually negating. It's like, okay, well, you see the flack that we can give one another. And I think that's what's been happening. I think the type of FU that we can give one another that everybody love here being put to a beat or being put in cinema or something like that. I think they're getting that return of that energy. And this is what it is. You know what I'm saying? I think if groups would just fall back and let black people do what we need to do in order to culturally identify ourselves however we deem it to be based off of our own measurement of our history and all that. Like what you and the brother Rich experienced the other night. It was like, yo, wait a minute. Brother Rich explained it perfectly. I cannot go to somebody else's country and try to dictate what their standing is in their history, where they think they should place themselves. It's crazy, right? But you have this conversation on the daily with diasporans, and it's like, well, how y'all not understanding? Because we know that we would be out of pocket in y'all land if we took y'all stance that you're taking with us. How is it that ease of a surface reflexive understanding isn't there? And it seems like it's intentionally being avoided. So we don't
want to blame, but we don't want to blame the individual. We just got to look at that individual like, okay, you just haven't been educated about this. So then
the issue is that they need to be educated, brother. We wouldn't need to be educated if we stepped in somebody else's land. There's no way we're going to be that out of pocket, especially let's say that we're able to elevate ourselves up to levels to where it's prominence and all that. We're not going to look at their have-not sector and tell their have-not sector, you know what? You're lazy. You didn't do nothing. Your contributions don't mean nothing. You know what I mean? It's kind of ill the way to go down.
Can I say something about what you just said? There still needs to be an educational component. Even if we don't know you right, we won't be out of pocket. We won't be disrespectful. But so now educate me about your culture.
Right.
You understand? So I won't be out of pocket. You follow what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Right now, Burkina Faso is on the rise. If the brothers that's on here now and then now, the system will bring her on.
Right.
If we all went to Burkina Faso, right, would we not have to get educated first before we entered into Burkina Faso to know the traditions, the customs, the language?
Right.
At least know how to say hi, goodbye, hello, and thank you, damn, right?
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So there's an educational component.
Greetings, beautiful souls.
Greetings. How are you?
Greetings.
Honestly, I don't really see how a boycott would be of a benefit to anyone at this point. I think that most of us have been miseducated, misled. Things have been hidden from us deliberately to pit us against one another. I think this would be a better time to educate each other on the lies and the deceit that has been perpetrated upon us. And then we have a better vantage point on how we're going to rectify the situation. Boycotting, marching, all of those things have been well washed through our system and very quite frankly need to be, set aside for another race. We need to come up with a better, more creative approach and focus on unification and education before we even try to approach our oppressors with anything. We have no unity within ourselves. We can barely agree to disagree on the majority of the things that we have put before us as news or information. So I think that educating ourselves, educating our loved ones, and educating the communities that we interact with would be more beneficial than boycotting something that we really don't understand and we're not orchestrating ourselves.
The thing is, when it
Right.
comes to Black culture, though, our culture is front street in America. Our culture is the one that's put out there for the entirety of the world. It's like, what is it that people can't understand about nuances with us that we
Right.
don't, you know what I'm saying, that we don't reiterate just within how we socialize, not even having direct intention toward lacing somebody, but just, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We out there, we the rawest people up in this piece. How is it that people
Yeah,
don't understand our get down? Cuz I'm not understanding
yeah, but
that.
that
I
but
think
that
they
goes
do.
what
Some of
Professor Griff was saying about we need to like get in a study group or something, or you know what I'm saying, get with people like-minded people, and we need to sit down and actually study these things.
Absolutely.
yeah, we act like we're too afraid to have an intellectual conversation to keep our emotions in check. What is wrong with having an
Right,
intellectual conversation to say who started this riff? Because I don't hate Africans. You understand what I'm saying? I don't hate Caribbean people. I don't anyone with an accent. I don't know. Even if you not foundational this or whatever that. No, you my people, plain and simple. Now, once we have the
right,
conversation, we can map out the cultural differences. Do you understand what
But
I'm saying?
that's how most Black people carried it to a degree, if not like outright. There was some form of commonality between, you know what I'm saying, all perceived Black people, right? And I
Right.
remember as a child, we really did that. The thing is, it's other cultures that come here with their tribalism. So I ain't got nothing wrong with their tribalism because it's seen everybody else in the world who come here to participate as a so-called we American, that's what they do. We are the only ones who don't, giving ourselves out to the entirety of the world for something I don't know. You know what I mean? I think it's acceptance. Personally, I don't know. I'm from North Tulsa, Oklahoma, because I don't need no acceptance. I just need my folk healthy, balanced, you know what I'm saying? Being able to express full potential. Far as I'm concerned, everybody else, they didn't already showed exactly where we fit in the social worth games, right? They value us the same way that these pilgrims tell them to value us, even though they might not have no type of interaction, social interaction, or anything of us. So it's like, okay, how much of a open dialogue does there need to be in with dialogue as opposed to also understanding the other ways to communicate,
Can
right?
I can I
The
answer that?
non the, please.
Okay, so listen. I'm be very frank and very transparent, and y'all three can answer me however you want to answer me, with a level of respect. Okay. Do you think the vast majority of this world have seen the best of who we are as Black people in America? I can
Absolutely
slow
not.
down because I know I talk. I know I can talk
absolutely
fast.
not,
Okay.
Absolutely not.
Thank you. With that said,
absolutely
now let
not.
me answer your question, Mr. Sun. When we have these conversations, we're going to bring the best and the brightest to the table. Those of us that not only love ourselves, have a knowledge of ourselves, and a knowledge of the rest of us around the globe. So then when we have these discussions, we move all of us forward. We can make a plain statement
Right.
like Black people created everything. Everything.
I'm glad you brought that up because like I'm paralyzed from the neck down, right? And all my nurses are African from Ghana, Nigeria, Ethiopia. Like, and they some well educated folks. And we had a conversation the other day, like, why can't we all just sit down like Africans and African Americans, you know what I'm saying? And like you say, bring the brightest to the table and we could just sit down and learn from one each other, learn from one another, like you say, peep out the cultural differences and the, you know what I'm saying, the similarities, you know what I'm saying? They educate each other, you know what I'm saying, to uplift each other, to move forward, rather than just stuck in the same spot about arguing about who's
Right.
American, who's this, who's a more, who's this. Because at the end of
But
the day, we all the
that's
same
not what
people.
we're arguing about though, fam. That's not what the argument is. You understand something? All this is new. Black people
Right.
ain't never had no smoke for Africans and Caribbeans like that. It
Right.
wasn't like
Exactly.
that. It wasn't like that in the 80s. It wasn't like that in the 90s. It wasn't like that 2000. That came with the push toward making sure that there is a class distinction or a culture distinction from when you're identifying the flat blackness classification level here in the United States based off of you know what I'm saying, the fight for reparations. We have all right to do that, right? We got all right to do that.
Yeah.
Because and so, but the issue is that other groups spoke against us. And I said before, whenever black people are doing anything with lineage, that's shadow work. And I don't know if you've done some shadow work. Ain't nobody supposed to be negative toward the work that you do. You know what I'm saying? Toward yourself, going specifically into that trauma, going specifically into you know what I'm saying, the negative differentials or whatever, and you're hashing it out. They want, the issue is they got out of pocket in a way in which they shouldn't, and now you're getting the same hyper flack that we give one another. It's unfortunate, but also this also tells that any embracement or any absorption of our culture up until that point wasn't resonating to the point to where they would be able to pick up on that for some reason, which is odd. You know what I mean? It's like anyone would know that talk on lineage is one of the most sensitive things with black people. And when we're putting that, you know what I'm saying? When we're putting that together, yeah, we're going to have to fight one another over our stances. But then you got those who have no dog in the fight trying to negate you from at least 5 to 7 to 8 different places in the world. What part of the game is that? Do you want to act right or not? Do you listen to us? Do you know us? You know what I mean? You absorb our culture. We ain't nobody finna take that laying down. Shit, that ain't how the way. That's not the way we rock.
Right, but so if the best of us was to show up, you think the world would kind of respect us and view us different? You understand what I'm saying?
The best being defined by what metric measure, brother?
How we define ourselves. We're not talking about white people right now.
Oh, they ain't the measure at all, homie. At all.
We're talking about how we define ourselves.
Right.
Listen. Seriously, bro. Right. We know who the hell the best of us are. Stop playing. Stop playing.
Though, but
you already know without saying it out loud. Without saying it out loud, you know. Come on, you know.
Yeah, but to say that we haven't been presenting the best class of us. I ain't saying that's our zenith. I'm saying that okay, that's just the level that we at. If the best of us in every decade, right, is presented, and they are the ones who have the floor, which can be acknowledged by other areas outside of, let's say, our diaspora connection, having some form of acknowledgement, like, you know what, yep, that's a viable take. If that becomes somewhat objective, if it's objective to a non-black person, a non-American, non-white person outside of the world, how is it that a non-American black person can't pick up on it like that? How is it that a Chinese?
They don't have the stick to shared experience. They don't have the shared struggle. They don't have. You understand what I'm saying? If all of us on this right here that's talking right now, foundational Black Americans, there's a conversation and a level of conversation that we can have that we don't even have to argue because we all 4 of us already know. Okay, we don't need to discuss that shit. We know. You understand what I'm saying? We know why they fed us chitlins and all that other kind of shit to dumb us down. We already know what they did with the educational system, the 9 areas of people activity. There's a lot of shit we don't even have to discuss because we have a shared experience. We have a shared political, cultural, religious, spiritual experience. We know goddamn well when we had a gig, a party, a get together, backyard, barbecue, when fucking Frankie Beverly come on, we know what the fuck to do, right or wrong.
That played down.
Right.
Thank
that
you.
Played down.
Right.
So I'm saying to you, there's just certain things
You're
that we
right.
don't have to. Now, to your point, when other people come among us that's not from here, that don't have this shared experience, we got to take our time, all right, and be the gods and goddesses that we are, and humble ourselves and educate them to bring them along. Do you follow what I'm saying?
I can dig it. Yeah.
Because as soon as we line up for the fucking line dance, if they add a step, it's like, bro, hold on, let's sit this one out. You understand? When the motherfuckers with them fans, and we know what the fuck to do, they may not know. I hate to put it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Somebody
I
from
was on a
Ghana,
panel.
Sierra Leone, or whatever, they may not know. Shit, if your ass is from
Exactly.
Miami, LA, you from fucking Memphis, Atlanta, you know what to do. You already brought
Exactly.
goddamn boots to the party. Shit.
Exactly. I was on a panel with somebody the other day, and he was trying to argue me down. He like, "What is black culture?" He like, "Blacks don't have no culture." I'm like, "What you talking about? You living it every day, don't you?"
Thank you.
Look, I've heard that so many times, and it's like, look, it's too convenient, and it's like, okay, I couldn't come into your land and negate the essence and the presence of you that I see in your country. I'm not going to do that just based off of the objectivity of
Right.
any land that I'm in. It doesn't matter. Let's say we, you know what I'm saying, we got a diaspora and beef or not or whatever, right? In anybody's land, I'm not going to negate that what I am encountering is their culture. The fact that we just got to put up with that is the weird part. And like what happened with what was it with Kai Cenat, right? And then Kevin
With
Hart
who?
went on there to try to Kai Cenat, the
Not
Haitian
familiar.
streamer, the number one streamer, I guess what they, gamer streamer or something like that. He
Yeah, the
he
little
he
young guy.
Oh, the
he
younger, the
coons with a
brother.
super
Yeah,
K.
okay, yeah. Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
yeah.
he comes with a super K, and so it's like, okay, they say he grew up here, right? They say he's from America. He grew up in America and all this. Well, how is it that when he reflexively said the phrase "Black people don't have culture," he could have been from wherever, anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? It's like, how can you grow up here with us and not be beholden to to the vibes and the frequency and
Right. You
absorb
want to talk
that.
like us, dress like us, and act like
Right.
us.
Yep.
But when pushed, that tribalism presented itself that I don't know if he was a part of or not. They say you're from here, but he sounded like any other, you know what I'm saying,
Right.
non-Black American Black person who would say that. And I've heard that ever since I was a child. I'm 46 now, cuz I've been hearing that since I was 7, 8, man. It's almost 40 years now, and we still got to put how we ain't got no culture. You see how they act, you know what I mean?
Right.
So I think this is where it comes from. I think the younger generations who are now coming up in an awareness and this particular type of attachment to a Black identity, a Black understanding. I think they saying fuck it, cuz I think they saying, you know what? We done saw what y'all went through, and we done saw the back and forth, and they're not wanting to put up with it.
So you
And
mean to
and
tell
and
me
it's
I watch my mom and dad struggle? So when I get to a certain age, I say fuck mom and dad. That was that. I'm not. We don't. I don't know any people that I had a fucked up car when I was growing up. That shit got me through. You know why? New York winters are harsh. My fucked up
fact.
raggedy. I called that shit the Green Hornet. That fucked up raggedy ass Green Hornet.
Yeah, I remember that.
The
That
Green
car.
Hornet.
That car got me through. My ass wasn't on the bus or walking or on a bike. That raggedy car got
Facts.
me. I didn't curse the car. You understand
It
what I'm
got
saying?
the job done, didn't it?
Even when I sold it to the person I sold it to, I gave them the history. I wasn't Professor
Right.
Griff then, but you understand what I'm saying? But that
Yeah.
car got me through. So if what we put together as a culture when we weren't even allowed to have a culture got us through, why would we now turn around and curse it when everybody else is manipulating, monetizing our culture? For example, recipes. What did y'all eat this morning? Black culture. I had some avocado toast. My wife made me some matcha, a matcha tea, and some other stuff. You understand what I'm saying?
I
How
just
she
saved some
how she
water and hot tea. I
how
fast
she
doing
got
today.
down in the kitchen, that's black
You know,
culture. My wife was able to go up there and make something
Right.
out of it. Ain't too much up there, family. Trust me. She put
yeah,
something
Right.
together because my mama's mama did that.
Right.
That's
Right.
black culture.
Right.
You
Black
understand
culture
what I'm
is
saying?
Right.
making something out of nothing, bringing forth things out of the most impossible ingredients, the most impossible materials to work with.
Right.
We are the manifestation of what they call magic or whatever illusion they're trying to cast upon the public is what we manifest naturally. That's why we are so oppressed. We are the very thing that they mimic, that they emulate.
Right.
We are the
Yes.
culture. That's why everyone mimics us.
Yeah.
We don't need a
Like Carter
definition of
G.
who we are
Woodson.
because we
Like Carter G.
represent.
Woodson said. Oh, go ahead, sister.
I was just saying we don't need a representation of our culture because when we enter, our presence is that culture.
Yep.
Okay,
So
but then
we don't need a representation.
that the thing is though, that's part of the issue. Is because we've been this type of hyper social factor within the United States that works more almost as something that is above human, if you will. You know what I'm saying? Non-human to some folks, but definitely above human because we are a factor amongst ourselves, the fact of our very presence. When you see how people respond to the way that we do things, and then they either start mimicking or they start reverse engineering and being able to expand in ways that they weren't off of their own model. We're utilizing some sort of social fuel, some form of a populist catalyst or something like that. We're so much more than what America can tell us we are, what the world can tell us we are. But that's up for us to set that definition. It's quite difficult for us over here, is being that, okay, we're forced into this universalism catalyst factor perspective of operating within one citizenry or whatever. But when we do that, which is a difficult and monumentous task, right? If there's anyone that maybe have somewhat of a shared experience, maybe not a parallel one, but somewhat close, whatever, then it should be that immediate understanding and recognition, right? But it's not that. It's that, you know what? My tribal standing says this. And it's like, well, your tribal standing says that from super far away, cuz what about here now? And they stand on that distant tribal standing. So it's like, okay, well, if everyone is going to have that, and there's nothing wrong with it because everyone has it, right? What's
Well,
wrong with
son, let me
us
ask you a question.
establishing it? And I'll end with this. What's the difficulty with us having it?
So how you feel about people when they say that blacks don't have no nationalities?
What you mean how I feel about them? Okay. It ain't up to them. They as far as I'm concerned, again, the niggas they love to hate, cuz for real. I don't care. They can say whatever they want. You know what I'm talking about? The niggas they love to hate and imitate. But there's not but we're empty and there's nothing to us. I don't get at no play.
Right.
Yeah.
So let me ask something. So I'm going through the table of contents of this book. Black people invented everything. And the table of contents alone is damn 4 pages. When you start talking about no, I'm dead serious, bro. I'm talking. So when you start, and I know this, brother, supreme understanding. So when you start talking about not having a nationality, not having a culture, why does it seem like they gotta demean us in order to make themselves look like they're bigger and worth more and valuable? Do you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. If your lights go out and you call the plumber or the electrician, does he have to come to the front door sticking his chest out saying the electrician is here? No. Fix the goddamn lights, then I'll know you're the electrician, right or wrong. It's black people that set this thing in motion, and we continue to feed and fuel it. But you're right, bro, son. They don't give us the credit. You understand what I'm saying? And on the small scale, we recognize and know who we are. It's just that the world is viewing us through a distorted lens.
Absolutely.
And as we begin to clear that lens away, they like, nah, it couldn't be them that invented all this stuff. Not them. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
So yeah, it is us. It's us. You understand? And you see glimpses of it in other places in the world because we're connected to those people. There's some inventions that took place over the last 10, 15 years in Africa, right? Black people in America are unaware of those things on a massive scale.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying? Okay. We don't know about them here. This right here, they don't know about this in Africa. This is not taught in the educational system.
Yeah, you're right.
That is the divide. So that's why I say all of us need to, I don't know, raise our vibrational pitch. I don't want to sound too deep, but raise our vibrational pitch to the thinking of God so we can understand each other's plight. We can have some compassion, humble ourselves.
Right.
Let me have a
I agree.
cultural exchange with my brothers from Africa and the Caribbean islands so we can exchange some information so we can uplift one another. That's my take.
Exactly. Learn from one each other and just move forward.
Yeah,
Because at the end of the day, we all the same people.
we're one.
Okay, well, wait a minute. How are we okay, how are we one, but people arrive with tribal,
Because they've
connections and
been
tribal
miseducated.
stances?
They've been
Precisely.
Because they've
miseducated,
been
bro.
miseducated.
Okay, but
That's the
wait a minute. If they've been
miseducation of the
holding on to
Negro.
those tribal connections and identity and perspective, we're talking what? Let's give them 3,000, okay, for some folks. 3,000 years for some folks,
No,
okay,
you got to go back a little
1,000
bit
for some
further than
folks.
that. You got to go back further than that.
I'm just saying though, but I'm saying our views of us over here, we're maybe 200 deep. We're maybe 200 years deep. Everybody else got, thousands of years on us. And it's like, okay, well, let's say that we are a burgeoning people. Let's say we the freshest people to this world, Black Americans, post-emancipation and everything, right?
Mhm.
Okay, give us whatever time that we need in order to construct ourselves. We don't do it at the pace of everybody else, and you know what I
Okay,
mean. But
son, I hear the sincerity in your heart, but I think you keep negating racism and white supremacy. Ain't nobody gonna give us no time.
Exactly.
I
Time
hear
wait on no
sincerity,
man.
bro. We not getting no time. You better work a job, do what you got to do, survive racism, white supremacy, and then study.
Exactly.
We
Time
not getting no time.
waits on no man.
My wife goes to bed early. I had the night light on. I'm like this, bro, because I got to. You understand what I'm saying? I got to take my time because we
I hear
gotta
you.
work. We gotta. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And that's the key is we are a reflection of our inner self. And if we are not cultivating our inner self, how can we want our outer to become some magnificent place? That's like trying to change your appearance through your mirror reflection. You have to do the inner work. We have to educate ourselves. They only gave us 5 senses to work with when I know full and well there's over 20 senses.
Thank
It's
you.
a breakdown of
Thank
if that's like going to
Right.
war with 5 guns and they have an entire a bunker full of guns. We got the senses of the spirit, which is prayer, praise, worship, faith, and meditation. They don't even teach you about that. You got the spirit and the emotions and the feelings of the soul, which is mind, will, emotions, affection, imagination. They don't even want you to tap into that. Then there's balance, temperance, proprioception, magnetism, electromagnetism, but they only want you to focus on sight, sound, smell, touch, and taste. You have to ask yourself, why is that?
Okay,
Why
but that's
is
the
that?
overall greater point. But what we're speaking of is the unnecessary frictions that are presenting themselves. Again, it's the surface, it's the surface that is being agitated to the point you can't even go into the depth. The thing is, the depth of us is seen right off the bat. We are the essence of anything that is able to be modernized in any society. Modernization of societies happened because of Black Americans.
Your statement tells me that we need to start to change ourselves.
What do we need to
Immediately.
change about ourselves? We good. We've been, look, what we need to change about us?
Can I
Our
tell you one thing we
education,
need to change?
we need
We
to
probably need to
re-educate
change the fact
ourselves
that we only
on,
speak English.
on what we've been taught and what we've been given. We
Right.
don't even investigate, and those of us that do, I'm not speaking on those that do. I'm saying the general population has been educated against themselves. They've been taught how to put spells upon themselves to prevent them from even excelling spiritually. The main focus
Right.
is to not create. They give you all of these tools, all of these devices to prevent you from creating. That's why I said you
We
have
have
to
to
go
destroy
within
ourselves.
yourself
Right.
and realize that you can create in the first place.
Right.
If you
But
don't know you can
that's what
create,
it means to be that's what it means to be Black in America. And who the hell is more creative than us? The world show us that we're the world's most creative.
Well, can
So
I say
that
say one thing real quick? I think we might want to start at speaking at least more than the English language, because I want to communicate.
Precisely.
Or I want to
Right.
communicate. I don't want to communicate through my enemy's dialect, because it's limiting. Are you following
True
what I'm
that.
saying?
Right.
Yep.
So we might
Learning
want to
Spanish.
start there. So we're not the end all to everything, unless we're able to at least communicate with the vast majority of the world. And a lot of us have a narrow view of the world, and we think that the world is America, and it's not. There's a lot of other people that speak a lot of this. Listen, there's over 1,000 different dialects on the African continent, of which we speak absolutely none. We speak English, our enemy's language.
Exactly.
So we might want to
Okay,
start.
but you speak language when you have a necessity for it. What is the
That's what
necessity
you're
that
saying.
we may have for another language here?
We have to communicate with the world, bro.
Yeah,
I
we
get it,
have to
but most of
communicate.
the work.
Have you studied the
Go ahead.
bastard language called English? It don't
Yeah,
describe.
it's the language. It's the
Wait,
language
wait,
of
hold on.
confusion.
Hold on, thank you. It don't describe what the sister just gave us, what Empress just gave us. It don't describe those concepts.
Right.
It just don't. The English
Right.
language is limited.
But the thing is,
Yeah, because
we
what if you
embody those concepts, and this is why people learn English the way that we speak it, because we the one who take out all the BS. This is why we drop words.
Englishmen.
This is
Those are languages
this is
that
why
were
there's
much
always a
each other.
consistency of affirmations. Yeah, I mean, you smell me, you dig, you feel me, you this and that.
But they're
We
not
are a
talking like that
people.
in the business rooms around the globe, bro.
exactly? They're not talking
They're
like
not
that in the
talking like
business
that,
sense.
man. Nah, son, I'm
Because
sorry, bro. They're not talking like that, man.
Oh yeah, okay. So the
what if
thing
you
is,
want to do? Because what if
they're
you
not
want to do
talking like that.
business with the Africans and whatnot? You
They're
got to
speaking
learn
the
the language.
language of white domination in those schools and
No,
in
they're
those
not.
rooms.
No, listen, bro. Right now, when Africans that are on the rise are getting together, there's sometimes they have interpreters, but they're speaking their natural tongue because they want to communicate what Empress just gave us. You follow?
Right.
When you start talking about trading in the billions of dollars for natural resources,
Exactly.
they not talking about
Exactly.
mean. They not talking about, you feel me, son?
Exactly.
They're not having that
Exactly.
kind of conversation, bro. But
Especially if you're doing business overseas.
hold on 1 second. Let me bring the brother on.
I was speaking of that figuratively, it being a consistency of affirmations. This is why
No,
the
I got
English
you. So
language
I got you.
such the lacking that it has.
Even in my household, when we speak affirmations, we try to do it in the natural language that it is. We try not to use the English language. But D Nick, and what's my brother that just came on? What's your name, good bro?
My name is Jamoy Shabazz. Peace, brother Griff, my big brother. We met before down at the Warriors conference in Tampa some years back. But yeah,
Okay, yeah. So I got you and D Nick on meet the rest of us. We here trying to have this discussion in a peaceful kind of way. You understand what I'm saying? Which is beautiful. And I respect everyone on here in the way we're having the conversation. This is a model
okay.
and example on how these conversations should be handled. But go on, good bro.
Okay, I see that you put something in the like the overarching theme here is like how do we clarify this? Seems to be a disconnect between a lot of us in the diaspora. Seems like to be a lot of diaspora wars these days. Is that correct? Where we're trying to understand each other better and see like, where's the
Yeah, something like that.
where's the disconnect coming from, right?
Right.
And,
Yes,
and
sir.
I
Yes.
just want to add my 2 cents on why I think that is like. Actually, the brother that's speaking, I don't know what his name is, but I think he's making some great points
Yeah, he
as
is.
far as see, there seems to not be a two-way street that's been going on. Like brother Rich the other day when he was speaking to the Jamaican chick, he said, look, if I went to your land, this is how I feel. I'm from Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and my people have been here, on this landmass for hundreds, possibly thousands of years. But if I go anywhere else to Jamaica, Haiti, Africa, my first, notion is to find, the indigenous people, the blacks there and see how I can respect and cherish
Right.
their culture, their
Honor them.
ways,
Right.
but I don't feel like it's reciprocated. I feel like other people come here and, you mentioned that there has to be an educational component, right?
Yes.
Well,
Yes.
we have been told by a lot of people that immigrate to the United States that, hey, when we first came here, they told our family, you know, you know, on the entry portal, hey, you know, stay away from those Black Americans. You know, they're dangerous. You know, you're gonna get in
Right.
trouble.
Right.
So I feel
They
like,
even
look,
show
okay,
videotapes.
right. Which is so my thing is, I agree with you as far as the educational component. I just feel like now what we have to do is they have to be intercepted. That same portal they went through to be this, like you said, when have we ever been showed, you know, when have people at large across the world ever been showed a positive image of us? They are already coming in with a negative disposition because of how we've been character assassinated, you
Right.
know, all around the globe. So I feel like we need to make it to the point where it's like, hey, when they come over, instead of going through that, you know, mind bending, you know, whitewashed white supremacy school, you know, you get intercepted by us and enculturated by us and taught by us about how you need to come here and respect and cherish our great legacy and contributions the same way that we would go and respect your great legacy and contributions. Because a
Right.
lot of us over here don't feel no way, but it's like, hey, that's the thing. We're not, a lot of us aren't immigrating in reverse to their places. But if it was, I guarantee you, a lot of us will be going there like, look, man, how can I fall in line with the grassroots of this place? Of, you know,
Right.
how can I
Right.
get how can I get down with the Professor Griffs of Haiti and Jamaica? I
Right.
want to get with the real and follow y'all. But when they come here, it's like everybody has this, you know, it's like a silent contract that says, you know, okay, they let me through the portal. They done let me into the
Right.
great the great mystery Babylon. So now I have to play my position and be silent, you know, as it pertains to Black American suffering. They know. My thing is this: we have a lot of examples, even though we've been character assassinated around the globe.
Mhm.
There's a lot of examples of Black American greatness all around the globe. We could just look at Professor Griff. I don't even, or some people in my family, or some people in the people on this panel's family. So just if you can take, my thing is this: if a person can't take the best of us and use that as an example, to
Right.
me, they have an agenda.
Right.
There's some sort of
Yep.
agenda or some sort of ulterior motive. You know
Exactly.
who the best of us are. Use that
Right.
as an example. But if you take the worst of us and use that as an example, I think you have some negative ulterior motives, and you might be working as, like, you know, a double
Right.
agent, or you come here to undermine us. And that's where, you know, people say, well, damn, where's this, you know, uh, this animosity coming from? Some of what appears to be animosity coming from quote unquote foundational Black Americans. It's like, because a lot of us has been dealing, you know, up close and personal with some of these sentiments. You know, like I say, I'm from Milwaukee originally, but I've lived for a long time down in Florida, Orlando, Miami. I've also lived in Los Angeles, and I can tell you straight up, a lot of people I've known all of my life. Of course, if you live in Orlando, you know a lot of Haitians, Jamaican. So I'm like right there up close and personal. And I can tell you, I've dealt with, I have a lot of friends that come from these places, but they'll tell you, and some of their families, like, look, now we're not getting with that. Like, you know, they still have yet to overthrow their negative predispositions
Right.
about Black Americans and work in tandem with us. That's what we having a problem at. Like, come on, man. Like, you've been
Right.
here long enough. You've been here long enough to be able to reach for the best of us now. Griff, before you got here, you heard Professor Griff on the radio. You know who the best of us is. So why aren't
Right.
you using that as the example and the you know, the starting point? Not starting with the, you know, with the bottom, but why don't you start with the top?
Right. So
That's what we saying.
can I ask you something? I'm born and raised in New York, real quick. And if you all decide to come to New York and you never really been, wouldn't y'all want to know from me how you move, so you know the, you know, so you
Right.
can survive? Okay,
Yeah.
that's all I'm saying about people that's outside of our cultural experience. Are you following what I'm saying? So Son was
Okay.
right. He was right. And you're right when we talk about this educational component and this cultural exchange. I want to know how to move in these countries. I want to be able to do business in Africa. Africa's on the
Right.
rise. You understand what I'm saying? You know, how can I get there? How can I benefit? Because y'all already know my story. I'm damn near fried in America because they ain't gonna let Griff do nothing. You understand what I'm saying? So I gotta start looking in
Man, we
other
love you,
places.
Griff.
I love y'all too, and y'all already know that by how I move with y'all. And I was just telling Son that I got to be able to speak another language in order to communicate in a real way with my brothers and sisters on the African continent, Caribbean islands, and in other places around the globe, especially for business.
The
Right. That
misinformation,
goes to what I.
the disconnect comes from the fact that everybody around the world has been taught. They've been brainwashed, yeah, by white supremacy to think that we have no culture. When in fact, everybody walking on planet Earth has a culture. There's no living people who don't have a culture. But
Exactly.
it's just that the way that they've been, brainwashed or miseducated. It's that they come over here and think that, oh, you guys, because of the way, the slave master and the powers that be taught them to think. But now it's like a
Right.
rude awakening because a lot of us are saying, hold on, what do you mean we don't have any culture? What do you
So
mean? Like
shouldn't
I
we?
could trace my lineage back hundreds of years. What do you mean jazz? What do you mean the
So shouldn't we
blues,
focus?
rock and roll,
Shouldn't we
hip
focus
hop?
on the goals when we communicate with these people? Blessings to everybody in the room. Shouldn't we just, to make it simple for everybody? Shouldn't we focus on the goals? Like I have a lot of friends, that have went through that. Like I'm a Rastafari, but I'm an American Rastafari, and so the joke within my peer group is like I'm a coconut. I'm a cotton picker that look like a coconut with booty scratcher sensibilities. So
Yeah.
offensively speaking. So and we have that kind of camaraderie. And what they've told me about how when they go through the whole immigration process. I remember my brother from Guinea. He was the only one in the immigration situation in the classes that read the autobiography of Malcolm X, but everybody else were didn't, and they were just teaching them about like don't don't mess with Black Americans, da 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 da,
Right.
all this type of stuff. Then like the white dude who was the head of admissions at I think it was Notre Dame, and he got fired for saying like I like Africans over African Americans because you get the soul without the baggage. You know what I'm saying? And these are conversations, and a lot of people come in with goals. If you didn't come here to fight with us or to be a part of us, then what was the reason of you coming here? Why would you leave your
Right.
country to come here? And then that becomes a really difficult thing. It's just everybody's focused on goals, and we would love to learn different languages, but like the brother said, like there's no goals, no immediate economic or social goals. There may be spiritual goals, like what Griff was talking about, like, man, we need to communicate with our people. But if people don't have that as a goal, like I don't care about talking to my people. I want to get money. If that's what your sensibilities is, I can't like we shouldn't be communicating with those people if we have different goals and different sensibilities. So I think it should really focus like what is your goal? Why are we talking to you? Who sent you? What all of that. I mean, let me know if I'm wrong. Like
No, well, you're not
I kind of
necessarily
get what you're
wrong.
saying.
But what you might be missing is the fact that different people have different agendas and different goals. You mean to say we have to have a common goal. And I think this is what Jay was just talking about. We have to have a common goal. If you and I have a common goal with everyone else on here, we can make progress. And if we have to
Right.
speak the English language, then we'll deal with it for now. But our children's children, that baby you holding, I want
Yeah.
that baby's children to be able to speak its native tongue. If we don't communicate with our people back on the African continent, you are losing. You're going to lose that. Your child, as you holding children, will never
yeah,
be able to speak its natural tongue. And I think this is what Empress was talking about with getting back to the core of who we are, the other senses. I don't know
Right.
if y'all heard her, but that
oh
was
yeah,
deep. We got to tap into them other senses.
Absolutely, because they
Right.
teach you to weapon against yourself with the language that you use. That's precisely why they
Right.
call it spelling. They don't teach you who you are, what you are, to cultivate that, or if as soon as you get a sensibility about any type of discernment, they already got your peers in place to tell you you crazy, you're delusional, you're bipolar, all of these misnomers to define something that is spiritual. We gotta if we keep doing the same thing and it's not working, then we're the people that are insane. we keep coming with the same approach. We've rerouted
And
those approaches.
expecting a different outcome. I get you.
We're in a spiritual battle. So if you don't know, you in a spiritual battle with 5 senses, and I just gave you 20.
Right.
What are the chances of you winning that spiritual battle?
Right.
We're coming at the approach from the wrong angle. We have to educate ourselves on the appropriate approach. If you are aware that you're in a spiritual battle and they're miseducating you, then that means you need to cultivate your spirit so that you can discern that you're being miseducated in the first place.
Right. Right.
Is it different with people who want no part in the spiritual battle? Like we're all, huh?
I don't mean to cut you off, but you have no other choice. They're waging a spiritual battle against us. You have no other choice. What the sister's saying is spot on. You have no other. You see, it's easy.
No, I'm sorry. I'm talking about the righteous. Like we have no other choice, but we do have one choice: is to not to engage with the wicked. If your goal is only economics, then I don't need to talk. I don't need to talk to you.
See, Nick, that's not what the sister's saying. Listen,
All
we're
right.
at war. We're at war right now, whether you want to know it, feel it, or not. These people are waging a spiritual war against us, and all she's saying is put these particular things in your spiritual toolbox so you can fight back. That you understand what I'm saying? Because we're at war spiritually.
No, I agree with that, but from what I've seen from this sister, she's a righteous sister, and I'm a righteous brother. So that should go in my toolbox. But if you're not, and you're just like, man, I don't care about that. I'm over here with my tribe and da da da. They're if they came over here only for economic goal and they don't want to break bread and want to build with us, and some of us go over there only like, man, it's cheaper over there. I'm gonna go over there and live like a king and like exploit my Americanness and all of this type. Their goals they're not in the spiritual. They don't even need those spiritual tools because they don't even care about spirituality. That's what I'm asking. Is like, so should we just?
That's the very way that they're moving up on us.
Thank you.
Through the spirit. That's why we're losing so bad. We think that it's a physical battle, and it is not. They are teaching their children about 20 senses while we're being taught about 5. They know how to discern and tell us about ourselves before we even know who we are. And that is by design, and it is very deliberate. That's why I said we're coming at this from the wrong angle. What do you think they have the Illuminati and all these Freemasons in place for? What do you think they're teaching them about those 20 senses that you don't know about? Because that's how they winning.
Right.
And they using those 5 senses against you. You using them against yourself because you're
Professor
binding
Griff
yourself.
broke that down 20 years ago.
You're unable to manifest in the physical because you don't have all the tools spiritually to cultivate your creations.
Right.
That I think
Professor
that's it.
Griff broke that down 20 years ago.
That's it in a nutshell. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I think there's no other better way to put it. It's really, really, really clear. It seems like we're making progress, and it seems like we're losing at the same time, man. Because it seems like we're making progress, and then we'll have this issue that we got to deal with. Someone wanting to boycott Black African braiding salons. That's so damn trivial.
Who came up with that, Griff? Where did they come from?
Oh yeah, if you go online, there's a sister right now going hard, and there's other people that's following her because it's trending now for them to boycott the Africans. And I said, nope, we're gonna nip that in the bud right now. And all I'm asking everyone on here to do is just breathe for a second right now, pull back, and get the wider picture. Get the wider picture. Someone else is behind. Someone else is behind that because someone else was behind canceling DEI, a critical race theory, and all these other things that they came up with as stumbling blocks to put in our way. Remember a minute ago, It was the gender wars that all these people, YouTubers, were having. The gender war conversation, blasting one another online, and the ratchet this and the 3 or 4 girls and the Instagram model and the OnlyFans. That was a conversation. We had to stumble over that. It's always putting something in our way of progress.
You know what I think, Griff? I think some of the stuff it starts off organic, and then it gets usurped, and then it turns into an inorganic, like you say, becomes a pissing match, you know, a mudslinging contest. Some of the grievances are real, but then it becomes like, okay, you know, somebody gets in the middle and says, oh, how can we push a different agenda? You know, like you said.
I think they're just trying to slow our progress down. Door of L, what do you think?
Infiltration.
Okay, wait a minute. No, I can't just I can't just go along with that.
Can you hear me?
Because we know what hair means or don't mean to black women, right?
Who's speaking right now? Who's speaking?
Roguish son.
Okay, go along with what? Be clear.
To go along with is that it's not that it's trivial how black woman perceives going into, you know, the culture of hair design and interacting with other cultures, whether they be respectful or not. If they deem it to be such, I would like to understand why. Like I don't know nothing about, you know, African braiding salons versus Black American braiding salons, but I would like to try to understand why the sister has the view that she has.
Son, can I ask you something, bro?
Yeah.
You don't think that's a conversation she shouldn't put on all Africans? That's a conversation she should just talk about that one.
Right.
Yeah. Let me tell you something, son. I hear where you're coming from, and I'm feeling you. I don't want to get too personal. But you see this, hold on, Empress. Hold on. You see this shit I'm losing up here?
I already got mine going, cuz.
It's some fine grade of hair, you would think, right?
Yeah.
You know how many barbers I had to go to find out who could cut this kind of hair? I didn't get fucking mad at them and blame the whole race of them. Fuck. I didn't say everybody don't know how to cut. I didn't have no fucking campaign, no protest, no rally, no damn. Let's come on, bro.
The thing is, the block is hot for them right now, and they don't really help it out. Especially what you and Brother Rich experienced the other night. That didn't help out nothing. Because I'm gonna tell you right now, the block is already hot, and they don't be goose stepping when they should, homie. That's the issue.
Yeah, you're right. You're right, bro. Yeah.
My apologies. I came in late, and I had no idea that this derived out of braiding. I actually am a braider. I live in Los Angeles. I'm a Chickasaw Aboriginal, and wow. Okay,
that's what this conversation started. That's how it started.
This is my take. I came in late, so I had no idea. But this is my take on the entire plant that's being done on the internet right now as far as braiding is concerned. They coming for the spiritual matriarchs at the root, literally. If you can start a root war between the bearers of the fruits of the nation, then you ain't got to worry about the rest of them if you got mamas fighting.
Thank you.
They coming at the root, figurative, literally, and physically.
Yep.
And I think that we should avoid it by all means necessary. What more divide do we need? If a minute we ain't gonna have nobody, if they did rise against any of us, we ain't gonna have nobody to stand because we are already in-house fighting.
Right.
But what's the divide? What's the divide if culturally, based off of our own cultural foundation of perceiving and being a filter of what is respectable and not, when they arrive, not just perceivably disrespectful, but culturally out of pocket, right?
Okay.
That's different. That is completely different. When Black people declare something to be out of pocket, that is of the utmost disrespect to us, is it not? Culture, just as you asked Brother Griff about when Earth, Wind, and Fire come on and we had a gathering and we know what to do.
That was Frankie Beverly, but go ahead. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Thank you, Frankie Beverly Mays. All the respect. Ow, right. But shout out to Cameo. Well, the thing is, we know to put that plate down, right? We know respect. We know reflexively to put that plate down because it's a cultural thing. Well, when we say out of pocket, and we might feel, we should permit ourselves to feel that people are culturally disrespectful to the point of being declared out of pocket with us. That's something that is different. We don't go about that lightly with one another. We tell each other all skin folk ain't kin folk, and we are beholden to some form of cultural filter, very strict amongst ourselves. So you mean that everybody else gets to here participate as a so-called Black person as well, and they are exempt to all of the cultural filters that we place on one another? Not here, cuz that ain't happening.
No, son, listen, I don't mean to, listen, you're absolutely correct. The only thing I'm saying to you is that needs to be a conversation and not a worldwide fucking global protest.
Right.
I can dig that. I can dig that.
I'm not sure if y'all saw the original thing that she put out. She said, we're going to boycott and protest African salons, restaurants, businesses. I'm like, sis, that's a bit much because somebody jacked up your hair. You understand?
Yeah, true that.
Like, come on, sis. Come on, don't do that. That's
True
why
that.
I came on and I called this "Do not
Yeah.
boycott or protest African businesses" in a direct response to these Black women saying they had a jacked up experience at the hair. I had some fucked up experiences at the barbershop growing up. I don't take it out on all barbers. Trust me, I don't. You understand? I kind of don't, man. You understand what I'm saying? So hold on 1 second, family.
But we're looking at still looking at the surface.
Exactly. Door of L, are you on?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you now. I didn't want to just overlook you.
Okay. I just want to, can you hear me still?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. Okay, I want to read a little.
You went out, brother. You went out.
Yeah, he went out. But yeah, like I still don't get it because I work with Africans and they cool people with me. Like when I sit down and we mingle, we talk, we actually, you know what I'm saying, exchange knowledge from one another. Like they teach me some things about their culture. I teach them some things about here. Like when one of my nurses first came in, she knew what an African American was.
But see, but that's
And
why I
that's true.
said though, right now, the block is hot. If anything, people should understand when, Black people ain't taking it, and like Griff said, yeah, this is egregious. This is very egregious as far as her talking about boycott all African businesses because she got a problem with one hairdresser or maybe an experience at a booth at a beauty shop or something like that.
But
That's hella egregious.
But that's an assumption, though. She might have like correlated with other sisters that have similar experiences or caught like, yo, they be, somebody be talking stuff in they native tongue, and we don't speak the language, they don't speak the language. So when you get
Nick, I don't mean to cut you off, bro, but no, that's not it, bro. The woman, one of the sisters, actually speaks French. So she was in the shop and they were speaking in French, thinking that she didn't understand.
So that just gives credence to her.
She speaks French, and what she did was she kind of turned to them and checked them, like Son was just saying.
Yeah.
She checked them in French to let them know that's not cool. You can't treat Black people in America that way because I'm a part of this culture. I just was understanding what y'all were saying. The same thing that goes down in the Asian shops. You understand what I'm saying? They don't think we understand.
Right. And so then you got caught. It's just like when I hear a Caribbean cat like talking stuff, and I hear it all the time because I'm a roster, so they assume that I'm Jamaican, you know what I'm saying? And I just got I'm Trini and American. And so when they get to talking that stuff, I can understand patois very, very clear, and it's like, oh snap. Like, but they don't know that I'm American. Like my people come from slaves, and so it's like, yo, man, what are you doing?
You be killing me, bro.
I say that pridefully because only my people can get through that. That's not an embarrassment on me. That's an embarrassment on white folks, on Caucasoids. Only my people can come out of slavery and be strong like that. You know
No,
what
I
I'm
got
saying?
you. I got
That's never an
Bars.
embarrassment. That's never an embarrassment to me.
you. No,
Like,
I got you. I'm just laughing because I'm thinking, I'm
But
saving
that
my
goes to
mind.
what Griff was saying. Like he had some bad experiences in the barbershop. Like just cause one dude cut his hair, like you can't just blame it on all of them. Know what I'm saying?
no, you
No,
can't.
but the thing, but hold up, it's your cultural informing of a people that lets you get out of pocket to that degree. My thing is black people in our spaces, just amongst ourselves. Who are we talking foul about amongst the world? That where they're not around us. Who
Nobody.
do we?
We
Ourselves.
don't.
I would say everybody. Black people talk about everybody.
No, we don't. No, we do not. Not in spaces
Yeah,
just
yeah, but
amongst
not.
ourselves.
Yeah, that's the
Every
comedy
all
session. But we talking about outside of the comedy session.
We
yeah.
talk most shit.
Griff bust out laughing.
Let's be honest with ourselves, and that's the problem. We putting on these
I
presentations.
am being honest with ourselves, and I'm not gonna let you do this, sister, because
Talk
black
just
people
as
do
much
not
shit
have any
other
scorn
countries
amongst ourselves culturally for any other people who ain't us when we're just amongst ourselves. That is not something that you just hear us
Son,
talking about
is
any
your
old
son
random
talking?
people here and there.
That
Yeah,
that son? Okay,
yeah.
Yeah.
son. Yeah, respectful. I'm gonna let the sister talk, but respectfully, yeah, my crew, we talk about every damn body. Them barbershops,
I
man,
know.
when
That's
that
what I said.
conversation gets
Nobody
going,
to you.
we talk
I
about
Okay,
ain't
but
saying
everybody.
we don't single
Ain't
nobody
nobody off
out
limits
though.
in the barbershop.
We don't
the
single
whole black
nobody
people,
out.
the whole
Yes, we
black
do. Yes,
man
we do,
together
son.
talking about some
but
other
hold on.
cultures. That shit right there make you hurt yourself, pissing on yourself, laughing at the stuff that fly out of their mouth. Black people are some of the most racist, indignant people when they ain't around other
Right.
cultures,
Pause.
and they act
Pause.
Yeah,
like they know.
but sister,
Pause. Hold up.
respectfully, that
Hold
holds
up.
no
Name the
weight.
racist black bank. Name the racist black hospital. Name the racist the racist
We're
black
not.
insurance company.
I don't think she
It got
meant
nothing
race.
to do with
Race.
us amongst ourselves talking as common folk.
I
No,
don't
you
think.
can't. You can't. Nah, this is saying that same TikTok shit. Everybody's trying to say black people's racist now in
No,
this
we're
day
not.
and age and everything. I
No,
don't go for that at
And
all.
when I was
it
raised
holds
in the
no
house,
weight. It
it
holds no
was.
Let's get back to the
respectfully,
respect. Can we get
respectfully,
back to the respect? Let's get back to
respectfully.
respect in the
No,
conversation.
it's all respectful.
No.
Respectfully.
Hold on. Can we? No, listen, bro. I don't think you know the rule, D. Nick. When I
Yeah.
say that, everybody just take a deep breath.
Okay.
Take a deep breath, because I don't want it to be a shouting match.
Okay.
You understand? 'Cause it's about to get ugly, and this is the thing we need to learn and demonstrate to other people. Just a deep breath. If all I'm asking you is to take a deep breath, if you can't comply, then you can check out. That's all I'm asking. Everybody just breathe in. When you're breathing in, your stomach should protrude because you bring in the air. Count to 3, hold it, and just exhale. Hit the reset button, and let's be calm and respectful. That's all. That's it.
Correct.
But she was right though, because I know my people, we talk about everybody. When we just sitting around as common folk, we talk about everybody.
Now,
And who
Guzman,
do we
let
single
D
who
Nick
do we
finish
single
what
out
he's
with a
saying.
personal distaste towards? I want to know who do we single out
Let D Nick
with a
finish what he
personal
was saying.
distaste
We
towards?
stopped him. All right.
This
Can D
takes,
Nick
we still
finish?
talk about everybody. Calling
Empress,
people don't hate them.
hold on. It's not respectful. Let D Nick finish what he was saying, because that's where we stopped at, and then y'all can pick up. Is that cool?
No worries.
All right.
Okay.
Cool.
Thanks. All right.
Respect. And I'll try to be concise. We do swallow spit and talk ish. But my point on that though is it has no weight, and like a derogatory term for us is different from a derogatory term for others. And I say that because when I had to bury my grandfather, who was born in 1922 from Arkansas, we had to prove his identity because he's a World War II veteran, had to get his birth certificate, a reprint. It said it said Nigger. I don't want to mess up like the stream or anything. It had the hard R Nigger on his birth certificate. And what that tells
Damn.
me is that is a legal document. You are legally classified as that. versus like if somebody else is like if like someone else is calling, like I used to teach in like an Italian school, and I never heard kids calling each other meatballs. You know what I'm saying? They used to call each other meatballs and dagos and all of that stuff. And it's like, oh, we're taught that we're the only ones that do that. And we're not. They call each other that type. They're derogatory terms all the time. It's just only taken a certain way. It's only when it's us, it's profit, and it's also a legal classification. No, nobody else has that on their birth certificate. Have people come from that on their birth certificate.
We
That
got
was
you.
on my grandfather's birth certificate.
Brother, we got
So
you,
there's a
D.
difference. That's why us talking trash has no weight.
We got
It
you.
has no weight.
Let me
Empress, now
just
what were you
clarify what
saying,
I
sis?
meant. He said, talk about people. It had no bearing on racism. I added that because me personally, have dealt with, and we can't be racist. We can only be prejudiced. We ain't got no demographic to put nobody in the first place. But I'm saying, and from a prejudice standpoint, we say some of the most harsh things, but that don't mean we hate that demographic. That's just our opinion. Just like they got an opinion of us.
I'm agreeing with you.
So
That's why I said it has no weight. I'm in agreement with you. That's why I said it has no weight.
What I'm asking is, as a culture, what people do we single out exclusively? We don't. We
Cockazoids.
don't even look. We don't even single out peckerwoods, cause that's
That,
people going
that's a
wild
good
wild. We got
question.
all validity and all right to do that.
When you say single them out in what kind of way?
As far as
That's a
having
good.
a personal, frame of distaste toward them, no
I
matter
think
the situation.
I think it's the white race.
Black people don't do that. We supposed to, but we don't.
You
don't
said
like
you
each other the most. We talk-
hold on for a second. In what circles we don't? Help me out. In what circles?
Okay, not even in the pro-black sectors do that. No.
Wait.
No.
Where were you?
Not
Where were you born?
North Tulsa, Oklahoma.
And how old are you?
46. They don't single out white people.
When you say
Nah.
when we
Hey,
talk
I took a look back too.
we talk
I'm saying
economics, when we talk
I'm saying
economics,
no.
we single
what
them
I'm
out
saying.
because we talk about
What I'm saying is have a cultural social distaste for. That is not within. That's
yeah,
not
no,
within the Black Power sector.
no, that's
The
exactly what we do.
Nah. White, not maybe white power domination, not white people. Difference.
What does that mean? In order
Meaning
for you to have domination in a system, people make up systems. Spider
yes,
webs
people
don't get spun by themselves. Spiders spin
right,
the web. White
right,
people spin the web of racism, white supremacy. So when
right.
we
But
talk
there's a
about
lot of people here also participating now within that same power dynamic of being non-black, non-white, and
I'm answering your question directly, though. You're talking about what
yeah,
people do we single out. I'm answering that
yeah,
question very direct. We
right,
single out and we talk about white people because we're in their system, and their system affects us. Not only affects
right,
us, it affects the Black diaspora, African
exactly,
diaspora. So
right.
in the barbershop, in the revolutionary circles, every political circle that I've been in, on the goddamn street corner, on the Snapchat digital street corners, yeah, bro, that conversation is happening right now as we
Yes,
speak.
right. But no. The thing is, it wasn't ever so much about the people to black people. It was more about the whole system thing. Let's say that everything was in some type of specific order that we agreed with. Our positioning here in the United States of the murder clans with these Peckerwoods and their allies and minions, whoever it is, right? And we able to express, create, and produce, conglomerize all that, full of our full potential, right? All right, then who would we have beef with? It's not in the worst of the situations where you give the measurement. It's in that if it's ideal, let's say you were in your ideal social position, right? Who do you think black people will have a beef with? Would there be a need of us having beef with a particular people exclusively? Because that's what it is in all these others people's areas. they having a beautiful American dream community. They're able to have their community. They're able to have their culture. They're able to have their identity. Nobody in question upon them. Nobody in question upon their contribution to society, whether it be that society or the whole of the global world, right? So they cool, but they got beef with us. Any of them. I don't give a damn where the fuck they from. Africa, Caribbean, Asia, Arabia. I don't give a damn what the fuck they doing here with some beef with us.
Right.
Hey, yo, Griff, it's like, hey, look, man, it's like the dude Kai Sadat. He's risen to the highest heights of, content.
Respectfully.
Basically, I think black culture, while saying we have no culture. This is what we're talking about. You've risen to the highest heights of what you can do. You're off of American culture. But then you get up there and say that black Americans have no culture. This is the problem that's being overlooked. Look, man, we address that, because to respect y'all.
Jay, you're breaking up.
AI, I'm sure how to let.
You're breaking up.
Okay.
We can understand.
What about now?
You're breaking up too bad.
How about now?
That's a lot better.
Okay.
Can you give me the spelling of this person's name? Because I've never heard of this person.
Oh, Kai Sanat. K-A-I-C-E-C-A-N-E-T.
One person talk at a time. I can't understand.
I think sponsored him.
What is it?
He's a young black guy. I'm not sure of his nationality. They say he's Haitian.
Okay, yeah, somebody spell his name. I just need the spelling. That's it.
K-A-I-C-A-N-E-T.
I'll find him.
K-A-I-C-E-N-E-T.
Sponsored by East, I believe. My son watches his show. But I believe honestly, it's if everybody in the world was black, it would still be racism because it's just
no.
Let me explain what I mean by.
Hey, ma'am, you have to go read. You need to read the ISIS papers, ma'am. Francis Cress Welsing.
Let me explain my point.
Well, obviously not.
Let her talk.
Let me explain my point. Listen, I've been in more demographics than I like to have worked in, careered in, and ventured into. And we love each other until one another is doing better than each other. And this is what I have observed. This is not something that I'm making up. I've worked in banking. I've done all of these different type of ventures, investment banking, facilitation, all of these. I teach Sunday school, regular school, home school. I'm a governess.
Okay, can we just ask you to define racism real quick so we can understand what you're saying? Define racism, please.
Okay. Racism is when you are able to put and allow a demographic, healthcare, work, you put them in place in order to have the things that they have. Now let me explain. If everybody in the world was the same color, there would still be the rich, the poor, the petty. There would still be a classification of people. That's how.
Can I define racism?
She's saying there would still be a caste system.
There would still be a system in place.
Right. So the thing is, why present that? Because every place has some form of a differential within how their social categorization is, how their populist categorization is.
If we focus on our own group and bring our own group up and not worry about what other people are doing and reflecting on us.
But the issue is that our group
that's impossible.
One that is declared to be the state of everyone else participation within the citizenry, right? Look, black people are two things. We are utilized as a social class portal for non-whiteness, right? This was only supposed to be solely a white class society. Ask the Irishman, they'll tell you, right? Their history will tell you whatever.
Can I define racism real quick?
Now let me let my plane with that.
All right.
Because we understanding systems. The thing is, we operate here not only just as a citizens class, we also operate here as a social portal. And they utilize us in the utility of a social portal, which is why everybody else get to be a so-called minority. And that is how all these other people are valuing us. That's the issue. It ain't that every people is the people who go through whatever. Nah. The thing is, people come over here and want to deny the fact that they are only here because of what we went through. And when we make note of this is what's attached to our history, connected to that, they, not white people, are right along with that same status quo of what our worth is to white people. So the issue is, how are they measuring us? Through an American view, which is a white view, or through their own cultural view? Either way it is, why is everybody out of pocket specifically with us?
My point that I'm trying to get to, if you to allow me to finish my thought, is we amongst ourselves classify each other and we don't have any power.
Yeah, we broken. We broken. You can't count us for that. We broken. Trying to put ourselves together.
And finish my thought.
Well, you broke. You better understand that we broken. Don't be don't be lumping us in with everybody else.
I'm not saying from the emotional standpoint, y'all. Okay, so please don't cut and chop what I'm saying. What I'm trying to say and what I'm going to say is that we do it amongst ourselves without the help of any outside races. We look down upon gangbangers. We look down upon different people within our own demographic. So in order to fix our outside problem, we got to start within how we look at ourselves and the tools
they supposed to arrive with some cultural integrity. We ain't got to fix them. I'm tired of hearing this, that we got to fix somebody else outside of us. This I was fucking 6-year-old, man. Y'all start off saying it with these Peckerwoods, and now the rest of the world get a nigga's other cheek. Yeah.
Just take a deep breath. Just take a deep breath and just breathe it in.
Quit trying to compare us to people who already got cultural foundations thousands of years deep, potentially, but yet they can come here and be whitely out of pocket with us, and they ain't.
I agree with this brother. He's telling the truth.
Right.
Like Kai Sanat. Yeah, look up Kai Sanat, Griff.
I'm sorry, guys. Can I just jump in real quick? Just to acknowledge all my beautiful brothers who are streaming today. Professor Griff, have much love and respect for you for many, 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 many years. You've been dropping science on the community for years. Enough respect to my brothers that are sitting on the panel. Enough respect to you too, and to the sister. What I would just like to say really quickly, getting back to the original topic, not to take anything away from what you guys are saying, is that as a Black American, and I'm a Black American from Harlem, I'm a Harlemite, and my people all the way back to my grandparents go back to being Harlemites, right? However, my father was born in the Bahamas and raised here. So, and is a close affiliate with the Black Panther Party. So I was raised to have Black American pride, okay? And also coming from a background of having Caribbean people in my family, I'm going to tell you that they have anti-Black racism against Black Americans. That's the bottom line. Africans do, and so do Caribbeans. They come here, they're disrespectful. They are raised to believe that we are less than them. They are raised to believe that we're slaves still. They have some Africans and Caribbeans are some of the most anti-Black racist people that I have ever met. I'm from Harlem. I'm from Manhattan. I work in the city. I do business in the city. I come from a melting pot of people. Black American people do not wake up in the morning thinking about crackers, thinking about immigrants, how we're going to oppress them, how we're going to put them down. They are not part of our daily thought process. Let's get to that and understand that. However, we live rent free in these people's heads. When they get up and they have to interact with us, whether it's in work, in business, whatever it is, they have a chip on their damn shoulder. Let's just keep it 100. Let's stop the shenanigans. The sister said she wanted to boycott all African businesses. Am I necessarily in agreement with that? No. Should we be patronizing Black American first? Absolutely. Absolutely. Because they come here to use us. This is by their own admittance. They come here to use our resources, tap into the culture, fit in so that we can spend money with them, and then they send their funds outside of the country. Okay.
Busta Rhymes is another one. Busta Rhymes, come on, man. He made his whole life off of hip hop. He made his whole everything off of hip hop. You know, and
All of
he's
these
and
We
you.
love the
Hey,
Buster.
hey, Griff.
That
This
was
is where the
fucked up.
disconnect is coming in at.
That
Look,
was cold blooded, man.
this man, Busta Rhymes is part of the nation of 5% nation of gods and earths. Clarence 13X, but nevertheless had the nerves to come out of his mouth and say, "Black Americans, these niggas don't have no culture." Come on, man. This
as
is
he
people.
cosplays
People
the
need to be
culture, as he
people.
cosplays the culture,
Right. People need
as
to
he
be
cosplays the culture.
educated on what culture is. I think where people
Jay
get it
Dilla
misdirected.
was the producer on his first fucking album.
Right. They
Jay
think see
fucking
that,
Dilla.
Griff, this is what it is. They just need to
And we
be
ain't got culture.
re-educated, man, and enlightened. What it is people think they say that Black Americans have no culture. Why? Because we not, we don't have parades maybe where we dancing through the streets, banging on certain drums, wearing certain cloths. That's what people reduce to culture. They don't know that it involves a whole
Well,
lot of
we do
other.
It
that.
happens in New
Well, we
You know,
Orleans.
do that
yeah,
for
yeah,
Mardi
yeah.
Gras.
Yeah, I'm
Everybody
We
saying
do
we
that
do
in
it.
New Orleans.
I'm saying we do it, but I'm just saying if they don't see all of us doing it with certain colors on and with a certain coloration of flag, they just assume we have no culture. They don't view, Public Enemy, and Professor Griff as culture. They don't view,
Thank you, cuz.
all these other
We a
things as
living
culture.
legend, homie.
It's just if it's not through their view, through their lens of what culture is, then it's not culture. Busta
Yo,
Rhymes is a
P,
classic
P,
example. You know,
P.
People need
Can
to
y'all
be
hear me?
educated across the board about what culture
Yeah, we
is.
can
I
hear you,
think a
bro.
lot of people are misinformed about what culture actually is. It's never just one aspect of the people. It's everything in our totality. It's how we walk, it's how we talk, it's how we dress, it's our religion, it's our food, it's our art,
The
it's
very
our
essence of
music,
you.
it's
Yeah.
our dance, it's
there you
how we
go.
wear our hair. Okay,
I
so Black
believe.
Americans don't get enough credit for having our culture and our identity stripped from us, and then we came and rebuilt the whole shit over again.
Again.
Right.
We
Right.
created our own culture here in America after our real heritage was stripped from us. How many people can say that they've done that?
No.
It's like living after death.
I think.
So these people
Yo,
need to come here, put some respect on our fucking name. Excuse my French. I'm so sorry, but I'm just so sick of this shit. They need to come here and put some respect on our name. These people are uneducated and miseducated about who the Black American man is and our
And
contributions to not
right.
only to America but to society at large. And everything that we do as Black America benefits the entire diaspora.
Thank you.
Period. Nobody else
Absolute
World
can
over.
facts.
see what the
hey,
Mexicans are doing. Nobody
Absolute facts.
are doing. Everybody riding our coattails.
Yeah.
Everybody.
Yes. Indeed.
Facts.
I'm
Yep.
sorry.
hey,
Facts.
I'm
P.
sorry.
Can I chime in, family?
Facts.
You don't have to apologize. It's it. It's it. You should. That's it.
Everybody's riding our coattails, and what it is, and what's causing this break and this delineation. Let's call a thing a thing. We're
She hit it
tired.
dead on
We're
the nail.
tired.
Right.
We're tired. We're tired of trying to align ourselves with Africa. Look when Public Enemy was popping. These brothers got everybody to take their gold chains off from around their neck, wear medallions, put on the dashiki. We had our parents who raised us up. I'm a
X-Clan,
70s baby. I was born in 1977. You know how many people in my
native
age group have
tongues.
African names?
Right.
We tried to align ourselves with the whole African thing. You know what happened? We got called a kata. We got called, you're not African. We don't, you're not from our tribe.
A
Okay?
good line.
We try to align with our brown brothers and sisters. They don't want to have nothing to do with us. So now Black Americans are saying, we hear y'all. Y'all don't want to be down with us? Fine, we're going to be down with each other. Don't call us to your protest. Don't call us when you need us to politically align with you. Don't call us to make our bodies be frontline in the street. If you're not a Black American, we're not fucking with you because this is what y'all wanted and now this is what y'all got.
Right.
And this is to the
Yeah,
world.
I
This
I
ain't
think.
just to the diaspora. Just
Hold up,
happens to
hold up.
have to feel it. This is to the world. You got to now be in pocket, culturally in pocket with us. And if you ain't, that's just the standing.
And if you don't get down with the Black American culture, then guess what? You're not really a part of a culture because this ain't really Black American culture. This is American culture.
All right.
There you
I
go.
don't want to talk over nobody. Can I
Let me
chime
say.
in?
let me just say one thing just to reset everyone. This started out with this woman wanting to protest African. I always laugh when I say that because Africa is just so it's so much. You understand what I'm saying? But she said African shops. And I'm like, sis, no, let's not do that. If you have an issue, you might want to just kind of like have a conversation. And then from that conversation, then we can get together and talk and do what the sister just said. If there needs to be some kind of wide range conversation we need to have with them, let them know we're not going to be disrespected. If you don't, you got to come with. That's why on my show,
disrespect is real.
Hold on. I tell everyone, come with a level of respect first, then we can talk. Because if we're not, I can't really have a conversation with you.
Absolutely.
You know, Professor Griff, respectfully, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Yeah.
I can tell you real, easy what the problem is. And it's just a generational thing. Like from your generation, and this is Robbie Blue. I don't know if you remember me. Much peace and blessing to you. I think we make simple things complex. And you got to excuse my language when I speak if you need to edit it out. I just think what has happened is we've made coons comfortable again. See, Dr. Khalid Muhammad used to call out coons. It's not about whether, like Minister Farrakhan said, black people made Christianity real. Well, black Americans made Pan-Africanism real. What it is after the civil rights movement and we brought all these immigrants over, we know that if you don't understand racism, white supremacy, everything else will confuse you.
Robbie.
Yeah.
You got to take a deep breath. What do you mean we brought them over? Wait, hold on. I'm confused. It's just me, y'all. It's not y'all. Y'all. It's just me. I'm just trying to understand his language. What the fuck you mean we? We brought from
okay. When I say we, I'm talking about this government because we are Americans.
Well, that ain't fucking we. Look, man, that ain't we shit. They brought them over.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, and I'm gonna speak from my personal experience, right, in terms of flat blackness.
You ain't brought nobody nowhere, but go ahead. I'm
somebody who embraced, a form of Pan-Africanism. I always saw all black people as, Africans and people on code, and thought it was just common sense that we would be against, anti-black racism, which to me is the central point, especially when it comes to all these other immigrant groups, because white is just not a social construct, it's an attitude. So you got Persians that are white, you got Hispanics that can be white, and to me it's their own version of Conan. So what it is they believe white folks are superior, they're fearful, and they just don't want to be treated like us. And then when you look at the wealth gap of us having less than 1/2 or 1% since Reconstruction, that's abysmal. That's why when it comes to the political parties, that's why right now you can say as foundational black Americans, people will look at the Democratic Party sideways, we'll look at the Republican Party sideways. So you got a lot of moving pieces going on, because for a minute there, speaking for myself, I bought into the idea that most black people, most melanated people around the world knew what the problem was, knew what systematic racism was, and white folks deceptively, right, they reward anti-black racism. So you can have people who look like you that could get elected, like say Byron Donalds, and then he may happen to have a Caribbean background, and not only will he do, in other words, he'll break all 10 black commandments. Not only will he say something anti-black in terms of like the legacy of foundational black Americans here, he'll say something that is totally opposed to just black progress in general across the board, because capitalism rewards individuals.
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's, so that'll land my plane there. I won't be too long-winded. My Native American name is Chief Speaking Bull and Brother Long-Winded. So I'll cut it short.
I didn't mean to cut you off, man. That just struck a nerve when you said we brought some people over. And a lot of times we as black people, and sis, this is for you, so you can help me out. Lex, is that your name?
Yes.
Okay, help me out with this one. How come when we start talking and we get a little bit emotional, we start lumping ourselves in with them, our country, our this, and we it's like nah.
Wow. Can I explain that though? Can I break down what I meant?
Excuse me?
I said, can I break down what I meant?
No, I think I have an understanding now.
No, I wanted to speak for myself so people could understand. So that way, maybe sometime if I slip, people understand. This is just something that has evolved as somebody who born in 1978. By the time I was born in 10 in 1988, growing up in East Atlanta, they sold us on the idea that Martin Luther King's dream was here. They didn't really talk about Malcolm X. If it wasn't for brothers like yourself and brother Khalid and people who actually made Pan-Africanism real, and just this idea of speaking truth to power and calling out systematic white supremacy, I wouldn't have had any sense of consciousness. But America did a good idea of selling us on the idea of a post-racial society. We've seen the golden age of hip hop. Black people have been loving to everyone. So you got to understand, it's a shock to our system. Whether we agreed with Obama or not, it felt good imagery wise, seeing all of that. So now when you come
No,
when you got somebody like Donald Trump in office, you got these neo-Nazi Christian fascists going for their end game, trying to eliminate our people. And then now you got all of these people that, because we've been the ones who've been the vanguard of the conscience of the world. I tell white folks this when I speak: you have a choice. You're either going to choose humanity or white supremacy. You could be a white person and be a part of humanity, but if you choose to be a neo-Nazi Christian fascist, if you choose to be a eugenicist, if you choose to be somebody who's an enemy to everything natural on the planet, then you're a virus, and that's a choice. And you
Bobby,
can't
I
say
thought
you're
you said you was
confused.
going to explain what you meant by they, because son
Oh,
over here, he already explained that before you got on. You came late to the party, man. You understand what I'm saying? We kind of
okay.
got past that point. I just don't want Lex to feel that we need to lump ourselves in with these other people, that when the
real.
creator looked down at this situation, I don't want to be a part of that. I can't say
No,
certain words while
not
I'm
at
on
all.
here. I hope you understand
Right.
what I'm
No, I
saying.
got you. I
I
got you.
can't say certain
No,
things, especially in the climate that we're living in now. You can't say certain
right.
things on the internet because they'll snatch your passport and your citizenship and all that kind of stuff. So there's certain things I can't say. But
Right.
please do not lump us in when that ass whipping comes from the creator, the most high, on these people. Don't ever say us, they, whooping ourselves, we.
Them,
No, I'm
them
not gonna
No,
folks,
do
no
it.
doubt, no doubt. They
them
can. No,
folks.
listen. Babylon
I
can hold all
definitely
of what
don't
it's
want to
got
lump
coming.
us in, because I have a understanding that we are a unique people. There is
Right.
no other people on the planet like a Black American. We are
Not at all.
very unique. And when this planet is under judgment, we will be separate from what happens to them and what happens with us. I'm acutely aware of that.
Thank you.
We've
Absolutely,
been nothing but a
100%.
contribution to the entirety of this world. So we're good. The thing is, it's like how Dave Chappelle said, I'm gonna tell you the punchline of a joke and you still gonna laugh at it. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm that good. You feel me? So what we're doing is we're traveling through that pace just to understand the punchline that we already there. It's just that it's the ebb and the flow of something that we know is going to,
Yeah,
finalize
it's the
in
coming together
upliftment,
part.
higher vibration, all that. You feel me? Like we already there.
Yeah,
Look at our effect on the world. It's been nothing but instrumental the entirety of our existence.
we
So
all
it's
Absolutely.
just
like,
need to come together.
I
but
think
no,
I
no,
see Black Americans to
it's
our
not
credit.
so
We are the
easy just
most
to come
united.
together. It's not so easy to come together when you do have some elements of the system that could be desirable to the point where you will refer to the whole we thing, right? Because homie
Yes.
said that it was a good look to see Obama in there. Sorry, not
Nope.
at all, dog. I already know how they operate, cuz. I already know how to operate. If anything, that wasn't nothing but a play. I was thinking, what the hell did come on, one, nobody know who this cat
It
is. He
was a
came
good
out of
look until
nowhere.
we figured
People
out he
got mad
wasn't
at X.
black.
Rest in peace to the dog. But
Lex.
his bewilderment was exactly what black people should have had. A nigga named Barack Hussein Obama, you ready to be the president of the United States. What's his middle name? Hussein. Hussein,
Yo,
like
son,
Saddam Hussein? Yeah, Hussein. The president?
son,
Come on, cuz.
let
Get
me
out of
say this
here.
to
Hey, and
Lex.
I think what the sister is
Hold
trying
on,
to get
yeah,
at is
yeah,
that.
yeah. Hold on 1 second, Lex. I just want to say
Yes.
one sentence. We already saw him coming, sis. Those of us that study, especially in my circle of
Yes.
scholars
Yeah,
and intellectuals and revolutionaries,
Yes.
In my
Yes.
circle,
Yep.
no, we already saw a
Yes.
dude coming. We already saw him coming.
Yep.
But go ahead, Jay. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Jay.
No, I was just saying. I just want to reiterate what I think the sister is trying to get at is that hey, there's a delineation for a reason, and I think what she's saying is that look, not only are we, this Black American civilization needs to be respected and cherished as sacred, but what she's really saying is that we are the only Americans that exist on planet Earth. Like everybody else could just be excluded from that. We make up all of this. There's no such thing. We are the only Americans, not whites, not immigrants, nobody else, only us. We are the Americans. No matter of fact, we should be the only people that should be able to walk through this landmass with an ID that says American. Everybody else should just be relegated as something else. I mean, you know
Well,
where I'm coming from with that, right?
They should be
Yeah.
labeled as the immigrants that they are.
There you go.
We're the only ones here that are not immigrants.
Because they be
Period.
bored. Why they
I know some
yeah.
people don't like the term American. I know it rubs, but it's just terminology.
But
I know
but
it's, I know
That's
it's
what
a
I was
hard,
just about to say.
I know it's a hard pill for some of, for some of the RBG
Hey,
to swallow. But
hey,
just, hey, I
hey,
promise it's
in,
just,
nine-
Hey, brother.
it's just a word.
in,
But we want,
It's
in,
yeah.
ni-
today
Hey,
is
in
brother, I'm gonna ask you a question.
reality. It's real
That's
life.
exactly what I
1986,
was
when
trying
I
to say.
found out
We're,
that
we're, we're
America
occupying
put
the
that crack in
landmass
my
known as
neighborhood,
America.
I said, fuck America and his mama the same way I was told any other black kid on the street when I wanted it to be on. Now, y'all remember
Okay.
how young you was when you would tell somebody, man, fuck you and your mama. That was really young. So that's the sentiment I carried for. I had to watch my Earth, Wind, and Fire social situation of North Tulsa, Oklahoma becoming what everybody look at it on First 48. And I
Okay.
saw it, I saw it at its burgeoning stage. First grade, second grade, third grade, asking, yo, what's happening? Everybody looked like they turned into zombies. People's houses getting robbed. We never robbed one another at all. My area was one where we didn't lock doors, cuz. Now, I didn't know that was a cultural sentiment from however far back it was, but no, we didn't lock our doors, man. And you know what I mean?
Facts.
From one of those spots.
I
And it
remember those
didn't
days.
shake until rock came. So the thing is, once 1994, we fled Tulsa, went into Southern California around 88, around 94. That's when they started, you know what I'm saying, telling people about it. Everybody started hollering government, college, Dr. Honorable Doctor, and Brother Griff and everything. At fourth grade, I had to get the understanding, wait a minute, the very same country that I pledge allegiance to every day in school is the same one. Just say no with the same thing. Nancy Reagan, just say no. The DARE program, they the ones that did that to my community. They the one that took that Earth, Wind, and Fire light and turned it into some zombie shit. Hey, at that age, however you all at fourth grade, I said, fuck America is my man, is deity forever, for life, cuz.
Same here, but we just but it's all said. Yeah, same here, bro. F it, but we still the only people who could claim this. It's us. Hey, we just call it whatever it wants. Yeah, whatever it's called. Look, that's us. This is us. Nobody else. You know what I mean? Go find me the Professor Griff of Jamaica or Haiti, or find me the Chuck D of Africa. Bring me some of these people, man. I mean, goddamn, because come on, man. Fight the power, baby. I learned a lot from. I don't even have to go far. I can keep. We can go for a long time dealing with all
I
of our
got
families and
game. He
lineages.
got
But
game. He got
I mean, come on,
game. What's
man.
the game?
They
Come
can't.
on,
They're
man.
not producing the same type of minds that Black America is producing. I'm sorry. And
Come on,
I
man.
was
Like
Yeah,
Griff
raised
some
by
said,
a
frequency.
come to
very
the
militant
house of the
Black person.
rising sun, baby. Step into the house of the
Exactly.
rising sun.
I
Professor
was
Griff.
raised by a
Yeah.
very militant Black person who was a Black Panther affiliate. And I also have, once I found out my mother's lineage, my grandmother being Cherokee Indian, I was raised by a militant. So my attitude was F America as well, until I found out that I had actual ties to this land. Once you become educated on who you are and who your people are, sometimes your outlook on things may change. However, these people coming from these foreign nations don't have the basic education that we have, the basic history education that we have, and they definitely don't have the brothers like Professor Griff, like Dr. Claude Anderson, like Francis Cress Westling. These are the people who I considered mentors. Okay, on 125th Street, we used to have things called ciphers. I was the only female in the cipher with the brothers breaking down the medical, physical science of things. The doctor, not doctor, but brother Sekou, brother Big Man, brother Sonetta. Okay, even what's this brother's name from Philly that's trying to
Samir
start the
Bay.
tour? No. The one who's
Oh,
trying
you
to
talking
start the
about
tour.
Umar
Umar
Johnson?
Johnson.
Dr. Umar, he would even come on 125th Street and be in these ciphers. This is how I was raised. So I'm getting the history from a Black Panther militant affiliate person, my dad. Then I'm hitting the street, only female in the cipher with all these brothers dropping the medical physical science. And then I'm also educated. So look, I take what Dr. Clark said and I apply it. I debate my equals, all others I teach. Let's be clear.
Ooh, that's right. Can I say one thing, Lex, just
Oh.
real quick? And this is no, jab at you.
Okay.
Africa did produce some greats, and I
Oh,
know African
absolutely.
history. I'm not gonna, like, for example, when you talk about Steve Biko, you automatically think of Malcolm. When you talk about Winnie Mandela,
Yes.
Maurice Bishop, I could run every country, every leader down to you. So when you make a statement like that, we got to be careful with that, Lex. Africa did produce it. It's just that they kept it from us over here.
Facts.
Right.
Facts.
Africa did
And,
produce
and
the
these are people that I've actually
and-
studied and read their works as well and admire. So let
and one
me
last thing.
pull back on that. And I agree with you 100%.
So the circumstances that these individuals came up in, it produced the leader for that circumstance. The same thing with America. It was America that produced a public enemy that had to come up in the ranks of music in order to speak to this madness.
Yes.
Right.
So we called the Steve Biko into existence. We call Ibrahim Traore right now.
Yes, and much respect to that brother.
You understand what I'm saying? Goita from Mali and some other people I could mention. The circumstances was there. They rose up out of the ranks, and here we are. We have them now. So let's just be mindful of that. That's all. That's all. Listen,
Yes,
I got
I
to
agree.
get out of here. I'm an hour over my time, but this was well worth it. Thank you all
It
very
was.
much.
Thank you so much, guys. It was
Oh
a
man, I had
pleasure
one
and
Yeah,
last
Griff.
privilege.
question.
Yeah. Thanks for having me on, Griff.
All right, it's all love, fam. You understand what I'm saying? It's all love. I want everybody to leave in
All
peace.
right,
Much
man.
love, peace and blessings.
Yeah.
Love y'all to life. Peace.
All right. Peace.
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 All right.
Peace.
Peace.